trying to send the producer this beat right now, and he has it. Let's go. Yo, what is going on, everybody? It's Grind and Wine episode, I believe, 55 now. Wow, we are really just going down the road. Wagwan, what up, Duke, man? What up, DVD? Okay, Jamaican community, I would like to send my public apology. I was about to try to speak patois. I do not have that skill. What is going on? Blake Chi, Tick the West, Vizoom, everybody, how you guys doing? I clicked on the notification, but it's a 5-minute countdown. Why don't they send notifications after the countdown? I don't know why Twitch works a certain way that it does, but it's whatever. Y'all don't raise the quality. Yes, bro. The show is completely different. Grinding and Wine is actually a full-on thing, and I cannot wait to show you guys what we have going on at Ventura. A lot of special guests, but today, let me go ahead and just tell you guys, bro, you guys may not know who he is, but this dude has been a part of literally most of the legendary moments of skateboarding that helped build it today. When it was gone, he was there. It's sick. This is just a great guy. I'm gonna bring him in a couple minutes. I'm gonna let chat just roll on in here. I got my usuals, John Doe, everybody. What is popping? I hope y'all are ready for Ventura, June 28th through the 30th. Please grab your tickets. We will put the QR code on the screen for you to get it. That is legit. They do not tell me to promo that. I literally want to see y'all there when I pull up. They don't pay me to do nothing but talk about skateboarding. Trust me. I am not a corporate slave. I promise. I'm a boss. Thought I'd show myself with my brother. Ha! You could do it too. I come from nothing. I literally made this up with my brother. It's crazy. Fly me out like a baddie. Well, you're not a baddie. Okay, that's the only problem we have, dude. All right, you're not. You're just a good guy. Not flying you out, dog. Not even on Spirit. Don't care. Shout out Spirit, though. It's just airline. Just sucks. Am I high? No, I'm not. I don't get high. What's going on, Frankie Washburn? Bella Tell FT Dub. My esteem go. No, I'm not. I didn't mean to take your esteem, son. You're just not a baddie. Like, when you get out here, what is, you know what I'm saying? Did you do the math behind that? Fly you here, you just go to XGames and what? I'm not no sugar daddy. Anyways, wow, I lost my mind. Yo, how's everybody doing, man? Just answer that real quick. If you're doing good, let me know. Crush this spirit. I know I'm a pretty bad guy, man. Duke Flavor Flav equals a Steve. I do look like Flavor Flav, so. Or that was not yours. Don't put your phone number in here. What are you doing? KKV, what's happening? What are you doing? No, don't do that. Don't everybody call that number, see who it is, but don't do that. Don't do that. What are you doing? What's going on here? Where's my chat? Is everything okay? Am I still here? Producers? Am I live? Uh-oh. What happened? Oh, he's talking to me. Okay. All right. Let's make it. I panicked. All right. Without further ado, let me go ahead and bring in somebody that literally, man, when I met him, had me rolling on the floor. I'm telling you, there's probably 10 human beings that can make me genuinely laugh. Damian Bernaldo being one of them. But also Tony Hawk. Oh, my God. He's hilarious. And P-Rod. So there's like 7 other people. And I know I have a bunch of friends. So if you're looking at yourself like, oh, maybe it's not me, it's probably not you. It's all good. It's neither here nor there. We skate together. We love each other. But that has nothing to do with the fact that there's funny people out there that have great stories and love skateboarding and love documenting it, and is one of the creators of Love Letters to Skateboarding. People from Six Stair Studios, my friend, my OG, the person that tells me right from wrong for stories I don't know all the way, Buddy Nichols.
What you talking about me?
Dude.
That was a nice introduction. Thank you. Not deserved, obviously, but I appreciate it nonetheless.
You said not deserved?
Well, I don't know. I mean, you know.
Just take my appreciation, son.
I'll take it. All right. Like
don't mentally debate. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Now. So now, you know, buddy, how's it going, brother?
Good to see you virtually.
I know it sucks. I wish I could just go down there, but I got stuff going on. It's all good. We won't even talk about it. I'll talk to you later. I'll call you later. Everything's fine though. I'm good. I'm healthy. I can't wait to get outside. Now, you.
Yes.
Usually with this show, we kind of run through people's lives. So let's do the quick introduction so we can actually get into some sick skateboarding stories. Where are you from? Where does it all start? Get into it.
Oh man, if anybody gives a crap. I grew up in Boston. as a kid, and then moved to the West Coast with my family when I was like 15. Moved to Portland, Oregon, and that was like the exact opposite, skate-wise, music-wise, everything. From the East Coast, I literally had to ask my folks to get me back then, it was like a road atlas. I said, hey, I don't know where Oregon is. I never even heard of it. And so that was kind of cool, like it was like going to another country. I'd already been to a few other countries by then as a little kid, luckily, but like I'd never been to the West Coast.
Where'd you go as a kid? What countries?
I went to Europe. I'd gone, we did like a family trip through England, Amsterdam, Paris, etc. That shit. Then got to go down to Africa and do some shit down there, and then and coming back, and then South America a little bit, and but I'd never really traveled too much around the U.S., so it was pretty neat.
Was this the same trip? That Europe, Africa, South America trip was like the same go around?
No, it wasn't all at the same time. Yeah, but it was cool at that time because I was old enough to be skating, so I got to like skate around and fucking ollie curbs and shit in different countries by the time I was like 14 or 15. So that was pretty fun.
Sick.
And the best thing it got me was to realize like there was good things about here and there was better things about other places than here. So at a young age I got to understand like when people are like, oh, fucking this place is the best or that, but I realized pretty quick like now there's a lot of cool places out there.
It's a lot of different places too. That's the thing. It's like there's like a level of difference, especially in travel. Like it opens your mind up. So to get that in the early days of puberty is probably really efficient.
It was really good, and it set me on that path of like I was pretty young when I realized like, okay, I'm not like gonna be a great skateboarder myself. I won skateboarding, and that I've always had as much fun as anybody else that ever did it, in that regard. And I consider always the person having the most fun is the person that's winning, skateboarding. 100%. So I'm lucky to have still in my 50s, early 50s, to have that same passion. Like when I go out skating and when I go out filming and when I'm editing, like skating is, I don't know how I was lucky enough to find something when I was 12 years old that has kept me interested and excited, like pretty much fucking every day since probably 1982 or whatever. And it sounds like on the one hand, some people go, dude, that's kind of sad, or on the other hand, it's like,
not even though, man. But
I feel stoked that I was lucky enough, to find something like that. And that always coincided, get around to my point, was traveling was like kind of the big part of that, that I realized skateboarding was a way that I was going to be able to travel, and meet other people and see other people and learn about other people. And it's like, if I can use this thing as a vehicle to continue that, which is to me the important part of skateboarding, is obviously doing it and having fun at it, but the important part to me is using it to meet other people and to learn about the world and to learn about things outside of yourself and your neighborhood and the people you are surrounded by on a daily basis.
Change that ignorance that a lot of people have. Skateboarding helps sculpt that. So at that early age of 12, what helped you get into skateboarding?
I mean, music was a big part of it. In my high school, my little world in Boston, like punk rock and skateboarding kind of swept through my middle school at the same time. We all got into like, the energy, it was all like the high energy stuff. Me and all my friends were playing, football and soccer and ice hockey and all that shit. But like we got tapped in to skating, and all of a sudden we could be out on the streets and fucking around and meeting weird people, and we were getting the same energy boost, but without a coach or without a fucking any grown-ups.
Any direction, really. Like it was your own direction.
And the cool, something that sometimes bums me out about skating now is that it feels like a lot of kids coming up, there's generations of us like me, 50, that exist out in the world. When I was a kid, all the dudes from the 70s pretty much were like done. They were like gone. You know, they were 20, so they were like out. You know, and skateboarding was left for 13 to 17-year-olds, and that was it. You know, they didn't have fucking parents around. You had to learn how to make your own contests, how to do your own thing. You know, maybe the dude at the skate shop, you know, was like a little older or whatever, but
and stayed around. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. So it was like fun like that. You know, I mean, now there's good parts and bad parts. You just got to be smart enough to see,
decipher.
Yeah, what's good and what's bad. You know, it's not better or worse now. I mean, it's still awesome. You know.
So back in those days, you said the music got you guys with the punk rock. Who was that band? Who was those bands that were playing?
Probably like Minor Threat was probably like a big one. You know, we were so young that we were already straight edge, you know, and that we were, you know, we were 12, 13, so we weren't doing drugs and drinking out. So we totally identified with that idea of like that band Minor Threat was singing about, like, you know, just go for it, do your thing, be yourself, and you know, you don't have to do drugs or listen to other people or whatever, you know, and you could just get radical just because you're radical, you know. And that was a message that we all took. And then there was local bands, you know, that we got to see that were maybe only a couple years older than us, and we could say, oh man, dudes are playing music and you know, doing all that kind of stuff. You know, very kid. I was lucky, super lucky to grow up around kids 24/7, you know, all the time. Like all we ever had was kids doing every part of what, building ramps, being in bands, going to shows, everything like was inspired by, you know, kids doing
the youth.
Yeah.
Like and, real youth was there.
Yeah. And so that was super fun, you know, just a lucky, you know, just happened to be that way, you know, but
at a time where it seemed like everybody, all they did when they skated was love it, because all the pain and all the struggle that came with it. So you really had to love it if you stayed around with it. Now, you said a lot of the dudes that would turn freaking 18, 19, they just stopped skating. Like they did it for their teenage years, had some sponsors, might have blew up, did whatever, they cut. So you start getting a little bit older. What makes you go, all right, well, shit, I mean, I'm in the West Coast, like I'm going to keep up with this. What was it like? The growth of skateboarding was like a time period. Like what was going on when you were about to hit that age where you were getting too old?
Yeah, a lot of people time out, age out of it. Well, I was lucky enough that I still had even though I moved to the West Coast, I actually, by the time I was 16, 17, I had friends that had moved from Boston to be with me in Oregon, you know, and with my friends. So by the time I was 18, I had like 2 or 3 of my friends from back east had come to live and skate where I was. And then we had other kids come from, you know, Seattle or wherever. So we had this knot of kids, and then we moved to Seattle because that's where the scene was like still going, you know. And back then everything was based around backyards and ramps, and it was just like late 80s, and you know, street shit was just coming in, and you know, so we'd skate, you know, ramps during the day, we'd street skate at night, whatever, you know. Just we were able to survive and live in sort of like this bubble, you know, this alternate universe of just skateboarding all the time. And then after that, I moved back to the East Coast, moved to New York, same shit, you know. And that's when I started. Well, I moved to Atlanta at first, like in '94, and I hooked up with Thomas Taylor, who's Grant Taylor's dad, and he bought me a video camera. He's like, hey, I told him that I was like into filming, you know, wanted to get into filming, whatever. He's like, all right. And we went to the store. He owned the local skate shop, and he's like, I'm going to buy you a camera, and you're going to film our new shop video. And so that's the first.
So fire, bro.
And like first thing I ever filmed was Grant's dad, Thomas Taylor, on his 30th birthday. He wanted to do the Marta rail in Atlanta, which is that square rail that I think only Jamie Thomas had ever done. At that time, you know, those brick stairs. And and Tom, just like Grant, you know, like he was like stubborn and just a fucking gnarly dude. And on his 30th birthday, he said, dude, it's so fucking pathetic that Jamie Thomas came from out of town. I think he was from Alabama or somewhere. He's like, he came from out of town and he did the biggest rail in Atlanta and nobody stepped to it yet. He's like, I'm 30 and I'm going to do it. He made it second try, frontside 50 did. And I'd never filmed nothing before. And I was standing at the bottom of the rail and he did it and he just landed like right into me, you know? because I didn't know where to
Did
stand.
you get it? Did you film it well?
Yeah, it's in the video.
All right.
It's
good,
in the
good.
It's in the torque video, which I don't know where the fuck that is. That was it was either that was the skate shop Stratosphere Shop's company was called Torque, and that was for the video, and it's in that video. But that was
what made him want to choose you to film. Like, that's so crazy that like this is not what you're doing. You said you liked it. You said you just liked it. He was like, you know what? Since you like it, I got $100. I'm gonna go buy you a. You're the guy.
Well, we became immediate friends. Like, I showed up to the skate shop, the Stratosphere, back in '94 or whenever it was, and I was from out of town. And one person I knew was like, "Hey, when you move to Atlanta, you got to go find Thomas Taylor. He's the shit," you know. And his Grant was 3 years old. We put him on a skateboard for the first time. That like within a week.
You were there to put Grant Taylor on his first skateboard.
I got video of it. Of him on the porch, you know, on his first fucking rolling. Me and his dad, and so I meet his dad at the skate shop, and I brought him you know what champagne is? It's like it's beer in a champagne bottle. And it's champagne, and it's got a cork, and you pop it out, but it's cheap, you know. And I showed up with 2 bottles of this malt liquor, and I said, "Hey, Tom, my buddy told me if I come to Atlanta, I got to hook up with you." And I didn't know nobody stepped to Tom, you know, Tom, Grant's dad. I didn't know nobody stepped to him. Like, that was the thing. Like, you don't fuck with Tom. Like, he's a fucking maniac, you know? Yeah, he's just mean. Mean motherfucker. And I showed up and was like, "Hey, what's up, dude? You know, let's fucking party." You know, and he's like, "Champagne, what the fuck?" And then we knocked that back, and then he had a ramp, and we went and skated his ramp. And he's like, oh, this dude can kind of skate, all right. And then we just hung out for like a week straight, like every day. And that's from Trans World. I remember that photo. And then we went from there. That's how we became buddies. You know, we're just like, fuck it.
Wow, bro.
Out, and we were hanging out every day. So we're like, dude, we're hanging out every day. We're skating every day. It's like, you know, so, you know, I just helped him film a little bit. Like, the end of the story is that I ended up moving to New York maybe 6 months later. And so I'd only filmed like, I don't know, maybe a few minutes of what ended up being that video. But
in that video,
that is what I left there with a camera, you know, and that
Thomas let you take it. He wasn't like, "Hey, bro, no, this is why you stay here." He just let you go with the camera. You take. No,
Thomas was such a baller at that time, and he played a baller. You know, he always liked to be like, you know, I'm running shit, you know, and he ran shit until he fucking passed last year. And he's like, "All right, I can't give you this camera, but take this one." You know, and he gave me a different one.
A different camera. Wow. Yeah. That's
and
hard.
I mean,
what camera was that he bought you? What camera did he give you? The first one?
That was a high 8. Dude, I probably have one exactly the same over here. It's like, I forget the actual number, like Sony high 8 TRV 50 something. Before the flip screen, you know, it was like early.
Just tape.
Yeah, just tape, but it didn't even have a flip screen. I swear to God, I have like the exact camera somewhere within reach, but it's not right here. Yeah, it's just an early high 8 camera, and you know, and at that time, you know, you'd have a screw-on wide angle adapter, and you know, get fisheye shit, or you take off the little macro part of the adapter, and you get the super fucking fisheye with the circle, you know, where it's just a circle.
That's insane.
Oh, these are some oldies you're bringing out. Burnside. Yeah, that's Burnside 1992 at Burnside. Wow. I think I'm
classic.
That's like 22 years old. Yeah.
So this is your life. Like you have moved to Atlanta. You meet one of the most savage skate fathers of all time. Literally, like the definition of skate dad got changed somehow, but the realest form of skate dad and Thomas Taylor.
It's so true, you know. Tom is Grant. Okay, so here's a crazy fact about Tom, Grant's dad. Tom, back in the day, there was a thing called the NSA, and it was National Skate Association, and that's how you came up as a kid. We all came up like you would enter the regional contest, which there was, I think, 6. There was like the Northwest, the Southwest, the Northeast, the Southeast, mid, whatever. There were sections, and so you entered that, and then the top 5 people from each of those would then skate at the qualifier, and that was the whole West Coast, the whole Midwest, and the whole East Coast, and then you would have the get all the way to the finals, right? And whoever got and this is on ramps, half pipes, and whoever got top 3, definitely top 1 pro immediately, board, done, for whoever. The year that Tom won, Tom Taylor has a great double pager and thrasher doing a frontside 50-50, grabbing the rail over like a channel thing, and he wins. And I think if my memory serves, he was riding for New Deal at the time, supposed to go pro. This is right when nobody gave a shit about ramps, vert skating was fucking, and maybe 91, 92, I don't fucking know what the year was, but he goes through all the steps that everybody goes through, gets to the end, undeniably has to be a pro skater, has to get a board, because that's just the way it has been for the last.
That's the rules. That is the rules.
6-7 years. Yeah, that's how skateboarding was at that time. Before Rocco came in and it was like everything's changed now. Whatever. And Tom didn't get his board. Wow. Didn't get his board. Right. Has Grant and is like, this kid's gonna be so fucking good. They're never gonna be. They're never.
Oh, was he ever?
Dude, they're never gonna be able to do that to this kid. Ever going to be able to pull that shit on this kid.
He was the most right person ever.
And since day fucking 1, that's how Grant, Tom was like, nah, this is redemption here. This is how it's going to go down.
Bro, who gets to have, you know what? Tony has that too, but Riley has a different sense of it.
Yeah.
How Riley's still his own man. And so is Grant too. But that early on, my son is going to be the one undeniably.
Yeah.
Grant Taylor is probably the skater. Everybody has something that they don't like about a certain skateboarder.
Yeah.
I've never walked in a room on this green blue ball and heard negativity about Grant Taylor.
Well, you get laughed out, because it's then you're just a hater. You know what I mean? Because it's as soon as you start there, check it out. It's undeniable, right? Yeah. The shit worked. Whatever it was, it fucking worked.
He went somewhere. He probably went to a witch or something.
Yeah.
Because there's no way in hell you just birthed the greatest, coolest, steeziest, bar none, balls to the wall child of all time.
It's crazy. And there's very few skateboarders in the history of skateboarding that are undeniable. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's there's maybe 10.
And you to think about that, to touch base on that, not to get off of the
but
please, it's you've been on a bunch, you've come across pretty much all 10 of those dudes, and pretty much, and another one of those people that you've come across that's undeniable and everybody knows is John Cardiel.
Yeah.
Now, not to really skip through time, because this is mid 90s, early 2000s is this course. How do you meet John and those people in that squad? How does that all come together in fruition? How's that come to fruition?
Well, I mean, I got to mention, that through all this filming shit since 1998, 99, I've had a partner who's not here because he's on the road showing a different movie that we made that's not skating, that he directed, and it's his baby. And so he's on the road traveling with that. That's why he's not here right now. But his name is Rick Charnosky. And so we've been doing all the shit, since, like I said, 98, 99 together, right? So in 99, we made a film about skating and backyard pools. We always have been the contrarians, oh, whatever's not popular, we're going to be into that, or whatever. And we were old, by the time we started making videos, we were already fucking old, so we could do whatever we wanted because we didn't care what other people thought because we're old. That's how old people are. Old people don't give a shit.
Yeah,
That's one of the beauties of being old, is you don't give a fuck.
100%.
You do your own thing, and it's people like it or they don't, or whatever, let it go. But anyway, so we'd made a couple vids, and we were shooting all on film. That's why a lot of these old cameras here are just shit that we've used in the old film cameras, whatever. And Julian we were good friends with Peter Hewitt, and because we'd always been friends with P Stone and Rhino and those kind of dudes, and they lived in San Diego, and Hewitt, we were friends with him, and we'd been on trips with Hewitt. And so when Hewitt gets on Anti-Hero, I forget what year that is, because he rode for like 151 or something before that, and then by like 99, 2000, 2001, he starts to ride for Anti-Hero. And nobody gets it. Like, it's hard to, Anti-Hero dudes don't really deal with outsiders too well, and especially back, it wasn't
hell no.
Oh yeah, come on in, guys. This is cool. But Pete Hewitt had always vouched for us. Yeah, why would someone need so many Super 8 cameras? LOL. LOL is right. You don't need. The answer is you don't. Nobody needs that many. Period. But nobody needs a lot of baseball cards either. But people have them.
Ooh, got stacks of them and folders and binders of stupid shit. You ain't never selling them, bro. The pawn shop is not gonna buy them shits. Like, I don't care whose rookie card it is. Nah, it'll have its day. Let me stop, because I got. But yeah, go ahead.
But
you're with the.
But so we go. Yeah, we Pete brings us to meet those guys. It's like we're in New York, and we meet Julian at a bar, and we vibe, I guess, whatever. And he's like, hey. All I remember, we were getting pretty drunk at this bar, Max Fish, in New York, and me and my partner Rick and Julian and Cardiel and Pete were all like, this was in the summertime of 2003, and we said, all right, within 6 months we're going to be in Australia making a movie together, and we cheersed. And in November we left and did that Tent City trip, and we made Tent City end of December into the end of December, and that's how, that was the intro to that crew. And then we made a couple, we did a few more with them. We've done maybe like 5 or 6 other films with them since then.
Wow.
But that's how it was, just through like how anything happens. You have a friend, and your friend introduces you to a friend, and blah blah blah. You get along.
Now you guys are all bro down. And you're filming and making and curating stuff.
Yeah, that one. That one.
Cardiel's greatness and power and just energy at that time. Like, it seemed like he had the, to us, he's like this hero when you like are in a certain field of skateboarding.
Yeah.
But it's like he was on top,
Yeah, I mean, John, obviously I was a huge fan, I'm not ashamed to admit that I'm a huge skate fan, still to this day, like we all are, right? I mean, and of just skateboarding in general and skateboarders, and Cardiel was obviously one of the people I was a huge fan of, and so super stoked to not only meet him, hang out with him, but get to film him, and go on trip, and he is and was and is exactly what the image that you have in your brain, of this guy, of whatever you think he is. That's exactly what he is, just fucking cool as shit, maniac, fucking down, like, just a fucking, and he's like one of the coolest, sweetest, nicest people. And I will say the one thing he isn't is, a lot of people think he's like, crazy fucking all the time. Like, he's super, like, just a good, solid dude that you'd want to have on your side, like, no matter what, anytime. Yeah, just like good dude.
Now, to not course like the negativity about John, I remember you actually lightly were kind of touching on that you remember what happened on that unfaithful day of his, partial paralyzed. He was partially paralyzed for a little bit. Did that for you personally feel like something in skateboarding was going to change forever when that happened?
Yeah, I mean, that's one of those things where it's like the events of that day, it's like one of the things of rolling with those dudes, is that you don't really talk about the shit that happens on those trips, or, like, get into details about their shit,
That's what I'm saying. Like, the feeling for you of after that.
But I could speak, like, more generally of, like, that was fucked, and it was really fucked what had happened. And it was really fucked thinking that moving forward, that shit you know, it's such the spirit, John, for a lot of people, and again, not everybody, but a lot of people, a certain side of skateboarding or part of skateboarding really embodies, still to this day for a lot of people, but, you know, certainly at that time, he embodied so much of what skateboarding is all about, you know, that pure stoke and aggression, but like cool aggression, not like aggro jock aggression, but like aggression for the sake of getting psyched, you know, and getting stoked on what you're doing and sharing, you know, like that thing, like any skater knows, like you can skate by yourself and that's cool, whatever. But that thing that happens when you're skating and you make something, someone else makes something, and someone else makes something, and you get, and by the, you know, half hour, 45 minutes in, you're making shit you would never make by yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He like, created that stoke for you to just do that, keep that up. Yeah.
That thing, you know, that fucking whirlwind, that tornado of stoke that happens, like that was his thing, you know, and he embodied that and personified that. It's the same thing, you know, like why people make things in contests that they would never make otherwise, you know, or whatever, you know, even, you know, corny shit, you know, like Olympics or whatever, people still get fucking stoked, you know, because you feel it, you know, even with regular sports, you know, guys do basketball shit that they would never do because it's like they get psyched, you know, and that's you chase that feeling, you know, and when you have people like John around, you know, it elevates everybody, and that's the people you want to be around, right? Is that you want to be around people that elevate the stoke, you know, elevate everything, because that makes skateboarding more fun. Even if you're not actually skateboarding, it makes skateboarding more fun. You know,
it gives it so much life. Exactly. Now, another two guys that I kind of want to like run by you is because you've been around a lot of the, you know, those hard asses as well. You know, whether it be Grosso and or Felper, you know, just those dudes that really loved this thing almost way too much, it feels like. You know, can you share some of the experiences of, you know, coming across Jake or even Jeff?
The weirdest thing about Phelps is that when I was a little kid, 12 years old, and we went to like the first punk show ever in my life, we got there, and this is in Boston in 1982 or whatever, late 82, early 80, probably late 82. And we walk in, and we didn't dare bring our skateboards because we just were like, we didn't even think of ourselves as skaters yet, you know,
at the time.
At that time, we're so little, you know, we're like 12, 13 years old. And we walk in and we see these dudes, these four dudes. And we learned a couple weeks later it was Jake Phelps, Jake's best friend at the time, this guy named Gluehead, Larry Hitch, who, if you ever read back in Thrashers back in that day, you know, when Jake always would talk about Gluehead, he was a fucking maniac, cross-dresser, fucking would tape his trucks to his board, just a fucking nutcase. And this other dude, Roger, and they had all these guys, Todd the Wad, Roger, Andy Strahandy. You know, anyway, we saw them and they had their boards and they all had like bleach blonde hair. And I remember saying to my buddy, Davey Rogers, who I grew up with, we just looked at him, we're like, that's what we want to be. Like, we want
those guys. We want to be the energy of those four.
Yeah, we want to be those. That's what we're going to aspire to be. You know, like when I don't know, that shit happens to everybody. You see somebody.
Of course, bro. What?
That's it. I figured it out. Those guys have already figured out because they're 5 years older, 6 years older. And I don't know what attracted us to them so much, but, you know, Phelps had like the fucking nerd glasses with even then, you know, with the taped up, like, and I remember going to skate the first time at this place, the Cambridge Pool that Phelps would always talk about, the Sea Bowl, you know, and it was like the legendary spot in Boston. It was a big old shitty public pool, 12 feet deep with fucking, it was horrible, but one of the things that's burned into my fucking memory, you know, like seared into I'll remember it. Like when I'm dying, I'll remember the birth of my kids, and I'll remember this. Phelps doing a frontside air, and in the middle of the frontside air, his tongue would stick out like this, and then he'd push his glasses up like that twice as he's doing the air. Like he's using his other hand like this to push up his glasses, or rolling in right before he'd roll into the pool, he'd push his glasses up. And I just remember it, like, I remember every fucking detail about the dude.
Every pixel from that.
Everything, yeah. Like, it was just like life-changing to see that dude and these other dudes and how fucking crazy they were and how cool they seemed. You know, like there'd be a pit, you know, like circle pit at a punk show, and Phelps would fucking take his pants down and run around the pit. Like, who the fuck does that? Like, he's just a fucking
bare body,
just fucking maniac.
No draw.
Yeah, just maniac. Like, and we'd be like, wow.
And y'all like, we want to be him.
We would like just look and be like, holy shit! It's and it's that thing of like when you're a kid, it's like, no, I don't want to pull my pants down around other people. I don't have that much.
You want that? You want that level of
that confidence, that level of like, I don't give a fuck. Sorry.
You good?
But
it's all good. No,
I
you good.
I don't care about anything that anybody say. I'm just going for it, you know. And that's skating, right? You got to live in that moment of doing it, you know. And that's, I think, what connects skateboarding from whatever generation or whatever is people can identify with that sort of idea. Not the specifics of taking your pants down or whatever, but that idea of living,
an energy behind that. There's an energy. There's an energy behind what you're saying. Is like, I am pure. I'm here. I'm at the show. We're punk rock. We'll lay in the pit. I've heard Phelps he'll lay in a pit.
Oh,
like, it'll be a circle fit. He would just go in the dead center and lay down and get trampled and walk out with a smile on his face. Very few rare times people seen him smile would be after he got literally trampled by a show full of teenagers.
And that comes from Boston. That was a thing that all the kids did at punk shows called the dog pile. And somebody would tackle somebody, and then everybody would dog pile on the stage on top of them. And Phelps would inevitably, he would be the first guy run up, maybe tackle the singer of a band from out of town, and he would fucking tackle the singer, and everybody would pile on top, and he would be on the bottom, not able to breathe or whatever, you know, probably. And but yeah, just a fucking maniac. And he brought that. It was cool, you know, to know him on the periphery like that, and then, you know, hang out here or there. When he would come down to LA, sometimes he'd stay at our studio where I am right now on the couch or whatever. And he'd never be nice to me, ever. Once in a while, like, you know.
That's one of those things that unfortunately, I'm happy I get to take. It's like, I've never, unless when I was 15, he threw a bushing on my head. Yeah. But when I became a man, bro, I never had a day where Jake even showed that side. Of that, like, oh, I don't rock with you, or I don't feel like it was always like, what's good, boy? Like, and I'm like, yes, you know, and just to hear the constant stories of everybody telling me, like, bro, he don't be doing that. Like, Jake be like, F you move, or you weird, do you even love? Because he, you know, he can weed out somebody that doesn't love skateboarding like that. Yeah. He'll be like, you don't like it, I don't like you. Yeah. Go away.
It was hot and cold. Like, I would get, you know, would be like, oh, super nice, like in the mornings or whatever, you know, sometimes. But also just like, you know, sometimes when you meet somebody, you just get treated like a little kid, even when you're 45, because you knew the dude when you were 13 and he was 20. And so you're always just that little dumb kid, you know, or whatever.
And I stuck around.
I'm fine with that, you know. I'm like, you know, whatever. That's like is what it is, you know. You can't choose that shit, you know. You just become, you know, whatever. Life just, that's how it is. But anyway,
to think about another legend to get into real quickly is, you know, Jeff Grosso, somebody that also just embodied loving this thing and loving the culture, loving the space. Yeah. Also hating it because it annoyed him from the things that was happening to it. Can you get into Jeff lightly?
Yeah. I mean, you know, Jeff, I was obviously like way closer with, but it was the opposite of somebody like Phelps. I didn't meet Grosso until late, you know, till like we were already in our 40, you know, early 40, whenever Love Letter started, probably 39, 40, whatever. And got to have this intense 10-year thing, you know, making the love letters. And it was, I mean, Grosso's, not many people could pull off loving skateboarding that much in their 40s and not being told to get the fuck out.
Yeah, exactly.
Most people just be like, dude, you're a fucking weirdo. Get out.
What are you doing here? Why are you talking and feeling this way about this thing?
Exactly. It's like, get out of here.
Activity for the youth. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like you're embarrassing yourself or whatever. And maybe, yeah, I'm sure people thought that way about him anyway. And that's fair. That's totally fine. That tracks. But he was, I guess, you know, like these other people we've talked about, was so genuine, you know, was so genuinely a fan. Like I was never as big a skateboard fan as I was after I met Grosso, you know, before. Like I love skating, like we all do, and I love, but I didn't I wouldn't tell people, like I didn't have an outlet, you know, to express how much, you know, you like something. And sometimes you have to walk away from something, just like traveling, you know, when you get to go to other countries and you're like, oh, I guess, you know, the US is, you know, what did Mark Twain say? You know, the US is the worst country in the world except for the other ones, you know, or whatever. Some quote like that. But it's it's like, yeah, skateboarding's corny and stupid or whatever. And you think, oh, why are you wasting your time? Then you go out and you're not skating. And you're like, dude, I'm just wasting my time not skating too.
Not skating. Yeah,
like,
bro. What?
Like, what's the difference? Like, I'm getting fresh air. I'm out here enjoying myself, hanging out with my friends. I'm, you know, hurting myself and getting back up. And, you know, it's like, I could be doing other shit. You know, I've raised kids. I, you know, do other shit. I make films and whatever. But it's like, there are a lot worse ways to waste your time, you know. And Grosso was one of his best qualities. And when he was at his best was sort of articulating that idea that it's like, you know, we're all wasting our time, period. Yeah. You know, fucking, not to be too much of a nihilist, but life is just, you live and you fucking die, you know? I mean, how many people have we seen die recently? And it's like, so why not at least have a good time and do something that you're really interested in, you know? And love.
Don't fake the funk. Don't fake the funk with your time here.
Exactly.
Now, speaking of time, and I definitely gotta make sure that we run back a part 2 because these people need to know about you, brother. You have been here, like you said. You got some before Back to the Future. You've been on this board, so you know I do want to just kind of ask you, who is the craziest person that's hit you up to film in your life? Like whether it be most famous, whether it be like most excited to get to, one person that makes you go, I cannot believe my camera is being held pointed at you.
Well, I mean, I think you said it, you know, like when you brought up Cardiel and that, I mean, that was like, once we did that, like once we went on that trip, Cardiel, Trujillo, like that to me at that time was like, oh, this is the pinnacle. This is like,
I did it.
Oh, early 2000s, like for me, and this obviously is going to be different for everybody, you know, they'd say, oh, this is that or the other, but it was like to be able to do that. And I think even more important to me was making films that were successful, even though probably nobody watching has heard of them. They were successful in the fact that they kept me from having another fucking job.
Exactly.
And that's what I think. I made enough money to not do whatever the fuck you guys are doing and do this shit. So that's success. Well, you know, doesn't matter who heard of it. But that to me is the best thing, you know, is to like, even if they weren't famous and weren't crazy people, you know, I got to make films and I continue to make films with people that I like and that I enjoy being around and that it stokes me out. And that is like an incredible gift, you know, to like, and if I could, before I have to split, say anything to people, it's like stories are important. You and your friends are important, and don't like let that idea of everybody, all these other people are so cool and so important and so big that they are more important than you and your friends. Because
talk to him, buddy.
Well, I'm just like, I get like,
talk to him, buddy.
I think it's so true that if you can articulate your vision and yourself well enough, you know, like all these fucking, that's the whole point of becoming a skateboarder, is becoming an individual and being somebody that hasn't been molded. And, you know, we can mold each other and ourselves and tell our own stories and be our own people. And
tell him, buddy. He said, get off your phone and realize that the biggest story and the biggest like and the biggest comment is happening in your circle of the people that you're next to.
Yeah.
It's not through a screen, it's not through pixels, it's not through fabricated life, it's not through big corporate mirrors that make people look like they're superheroes. And we know the truth because me and Buddy know a lot of these people are not actually who you think they even are. But your friends are who that piece of shit homie that's on your couch, that homie that's messing up. Those are your friends, and they have good stories, and you guys have good laughs, and you guys have made good memories. Buddy Nichols, we are going to bring you back. We have to. But today, I want to just give you the kind words of just thank you, bro, for the stoke and the reel. I can't go too long because you got to leave, but thank you so much for the stoke and the reel. And can we know your Mount Rushmore, top 4 skaters all time, real quick, before you go?
Oh, God, that's so fucked.
Okay, yeah, because you might get jumped, huh?
Yeah, no, I mean, God, Cardiel. I love Grosso. I mean, to me, skate wise, he's like awesome, but he's just a fun guy. I'd say you'd have to say Lance Mountain. For me, Cardiel, obviously. I would have Grant Taylor. And then I'd have to pick somebody from like the 70s. I mean, to me, the most important person in skateboarding is Craig Stesick, who wrote about skateboarding and gave us all the mythology of skateboarding. And the reason why skateboarding is cool 60 years later, 50 years later, is because that dude, Craig Stesick, look him up if you don't know who he is, said skateboarding isn't like BMX. It's not like surfing. It's not like any of these other things. It's like gang graffiti culture. It's like lowrider culture. It's like anything that happens on the streets. That's what skateboarding is about. It's about being connected to the street, being connected to your neighborhood, being connected to the world and each other, and not like that we're good enough to create our own story. And we're as cool as anybody. We're not cooler, but we're as cool as anybody else, you know? And Craig Stesick hammered that fucking message home since 1976. The original article is called The Aspects of the Downhill Slide. It's in volume 2, issue 2 of Skateboarder magazine. He writes it under a pen name of Carlos Izan, and he lays out, it's a fucking manifesto of skateboarding that is to this day, all of us that
still a fact.
We're all living in the shadow of that thing that he wrote, that this is what skateboarding is and this is what skateboarders are, and we're lucky to have had him. So even though he maybe wasn't like technically a great skater, he has done as much for skateboarding as anybody, and we all owe him a great debt of gratitude. That's all I got,
bro. Too real, man. Buddy, like I said, brother, appreciate you. We're gonna talk soon and get more into it. Also, if you got anything you want to promo or say to the people, we got the Twitch front page, so we got a big audience. You got anything,
dude?
All right, no, it's good. Go ahead, get out of here.
I don't promote myself. I promote other people. I
know.
Promote other people. That's my.
I know. You're just like me. It's all good. I understand. It's all good.
Oh, I'd add Dylan onto my Mount Rushmore any day of the week. I see
Dylan Reader.
Yeah, the board behind you definitely.
100%.
I mean, awesome as a person and a skateboarder. Yeah, for sure.
100%. Yep.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, brother. Let's get it.
Super fun.
I'm gonna see you soon.
I love seeing you in person. I love seeing you on the computer, and I hope we see each other soon.
Appreciate you. And also, just want to say, bro, the thing you told me about Jeff meant so much to me, by the way. So
yeah,
I don't know if you remember what you said, but the fact that what you said about Jeff Grosso said about me has changed my life, bro, in a way that when I wear his shirt, I only get it dry cleaned. His Thrasher too. Like I can't even.
He dry cleaned all his t-shirts. That
was so I get my shout out to that. I cannot believe, and that, bro, that I couldn't believe. So
he was a big fan. Grosso was a big fan. He was so excited to meet you when we met you that one time. He was
so crazy, bro. So insane. So yo, buddy, don't be late, bro. Don't be like me.
I know. I gotta go pick up the old lady. All right.
All right, brother.
Thanks.
Peace out.
Bye.
Later.
Bye.
Peace. Wow, Buddy Nichols, man. That is a very, very legendary dude. Now, I have to get in a million bars by myself, which I don't mind doing because I have spitting heat lately. So, producer, if you can put that beat up for your boy so I can get up into it. Yeah. Y'all hear it? I need W's in the chat if you can hit a beat. If you can hit a beat, W's in the chat. Yo, I need a topic. I need a topic. Give me a word. Tell me something I ain't never heard. I'ma go absurd. Up on the beat. Just give me a topic. RIP to Grosso G. Shout out to Jeff. He did his best. He hated everything in skateboarding that was a mess. Went through the test. Kept it on his chest. Went up in the air. Did whatever was there. He was really crazy. Never did him shady. If you talk bad about him, he was gonna look at you like you're crazy. He loved his babies. He loved his family. And I thought he hated me. I thought he would never stand me. But he actually stand me. Shout out to him. Shout out to Phelps. Jake for the win. That's the OG. And he's still watching. Y'all still hating. He ain't blocking. If you about to send it, you can go and get it. You going to hell, boy, he will recommend it. Fly down the gap. But do what you gotta do and don't run your flaps. Be about business. Shout out Ventura. We going there, XGames. Yeah, we going up, bruh. Just by the beach. The course of street. Vert ramp. BMX. MTX. Is that motocross? Hey, yo, G Code, I'm a boss. Hey, the boss not coming. Not Andrew Reynolds. Like other skaters got Nigel, Yuto, all the bros. They showing up, you know, be on TV. Hey, like Channel 7, Channel 10, I don't know. I don't know why you put that in there. I don't care. Still going. Shout out to the Manny Pad. That's James. He do that. He manual day one. Like he fakey. He be going crazy. With the 3 shove. Yeah, I'm showing love. That's my homie. Never throw a dub. 50 in the club. Cause it's a party. Fakey flip manual. Fakey flip out. Do it, shawty. Hey, I'm too nasty. I'm too real. You give me a word, the whole thing don't get killed. I'm like this. I'm like that. When I spit, hey, it's no cap. This real rap. Don't mess with raps. I got messy hair up under the Duke cap. That's the do-rag. I pop tags. I do manuals. No toe drag. Shout out everybody, man. That was Million Bars. Grinding Unwind episode 50-something. Whew, the show's looking so much better now. Shout out to everybody, brother. Shout out to everybody, man. Yeah.